Alita: Battle Angel is a manga that debuted back in the 90s and gained enough traction to get its own OVA based on two of the six volumes. I recently watched the OVA a year or so back after buying it online from a site so-called bargain bin. By the way, there's tons of good anime that date back to the 70s that were prime picks back in the day, but are just overshadowed by today's abundance of newer anime and manga. Remember, just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good. I'm getting a little bit off topic, so let's get back on track. Alita Battle Angel has been given the unholy fate of becoming a live action adaptation, and given the history of live action adaptations, this is simply going to be a huge disappointment. Need we be reminded of Dragon Ball? Ugh. I had to bear witness to the Alita trailer back during the theatrical release of My Hero Academia. Two heroes, the floating utopia and wasteland were a dead giveaway, and I feel I was the only one in the audience who knew what Alita Battle Angel is, based off the quiet audience. I talk during trailers, but not overtly loud. Speaking of loud, the huge eyes on Alita just scream a super creepy vibe. I get that they wanted to keep the anime aesthetic, but the whole point of a live action adaptation is to use real actors. Yet Alita is a CG abomination, in my opinion. Some companies are currently trying to hype up the movie based off its own Hollywood merit. By that I mean Hollywood types like director Robert Rodriguez, famous for action movies, James Cameron for great CG work on Avatar, and of course the actors and the score itself. This alone does not dictate that the movie will even be good. For starters, we all know that the movie will vaguely follow the source material, and tons of directive freedom will make horrible changes. I understand that this is done so that more people can enjoy the movie without knowing much about the source material, but being watered down just means that you have less to enjoy and you're missing out. Oh, did I mention that the eyes stick out like a sore thumb? Jesus. This only works well in its source material and doesn't suit well in reality. With online buzz trying to play up this movie and mainstream media, we all know it's going to suck. And recently, Alita was giving a PG-13 rating, which means younger viewers who might not be fans now have a better chance of unknowingly having to watch this movie. And if that wasn't a nice red flag, the next one is even better, since Alita Battle Angel will be released on February 14th, kind of like a Valentine's Day's date movie, which is very odd since Alita is about a cyborg giving a new life in the slums of a dystopian society while taking on bounties in order to buy passage into a real utopian city in the sky that has forsaken everyone below it in the slums. There is a love interest for Alita, but it's more of a crush and only pushes the story along. So it's not going to be a romantic movie in the least bit. The movie just hopes to cash in on Valentine's Day as a date movie just so they can make as much money back as possible within the first week, since they know this is going to bomb pretty badly. This ensures that some profit will be made, but they'll still be taking some huge losses. Had anyone felt confident on the movie itself, I'm sure it would have been released on an earlier date. If you're like me, all live action adaptations are just terrible and should never be watched. What really adds fuel to the fire is that the movie is trying to tie four volumes from the book becoming so action packed that the pacing and development is overrushed, leaving out tons of background information and building lackluster, undeveloped characters. Unfortunately, with situations like this, real anime fans aren't the target audience. It's just an existing IP that can be converted into a cash grab by Hollywood so that they don't have to come up with a new idea or concept. Still, though, I can't fully trust this movie since I have yet to see it. Who knows, it might be sort of a decent sci fi standalone action movie. Even then, I'm giving it way too much credit. I just don't like the big eye aesthetic. To me, it just feels like a gimmick to get people talking. Hence, now the buzz is being talked about widely and turns into free advertisement. I may or may not watch this live action movie, who knows? Do you feel this movie is just a bad idea all around, or are you going to watch it in hopes that it might be sort of entertaining?